Okay, hi. I was going to make a story time, but then I was like, who wants to hear about what went on in my life today? It's really not entertaining. So, what happened was here's what we're going to do. There is this thing where I put this on my Facebook, and it's called an after school Satan Club could be coming to your kids' elementary school. And here's what I said about it, putting it up on my status. This is just all kinds of messed up. People like this make me sick. Also, I'm not just saying this because I'm religious. I'm saying this because it needs to be said. Anyone who wants to frighten children as young as kindergarten has some problems. These people are sick. I already have devil worshippers in my park at 11 p.m. on Fridays. I don't need this. And the whole thing, there's a picture of the guy. And here's the whole thing that I put up. Salem, Mass. It's a hot summer night, and leaders of the Satanic Temple have gathered in the crimson-walled living room of a Victorian manse in the city renowned for its witch trials in the 17th century. They're wearing a sepia-toned video in which kids dance around a maypole, a spider crawls across a clown's face, and eerie ambient chanting gives way to a backward demonic voiceover. The group chuckles with approval. They're here applying to bring their wisdom to the nation's public elementary school children. They point out that Christian evangelical groups already have infiltrated the lives of America's children through after-school religious programming in public schools, and they appear determined to give young students a choice, Jesus or Satan. Sorry if I'm pronouncing words wrong, it's just the way I am. It's critical that children understand that there are multiple perspectives on all issues and that they have a choice in how they think, said Doug Messner, the Satanic Temple's co-founder. On Monday, the group plans to introduce its after-school Satan Club to public elementary schools, including one in Prince George's County, petitioning school officials to allow them to open immediately as the academic year starts. Chapter heads from New York, Boston, Utah, and Arizona were in Salem on July 10th talking strategy, with others from Minneapolis, Detroit, San Jose, New Orleans, Pittsburgh, and Florida participating online. The promotional video, which feels like a mashup of a horror movie trailer and a Saturday Night Live sketch, will serve to promote the new club along with its website, AfterSchoolSatan.com. And you guys can watch the video and go to the website yourself. I'm not. My computer could have problems. The Satanic Temple, which has been offering tongue-in-cheek support for the fallen angel in public arenas that have embraced prayer and parochial ceremonies, is bringing its fight over constitutional separation of church and state to the nation's schools. But the group's plan for public school children isn't exactly about promoting worship of the devil. The Satanic Temple doesn't expose, I think it's supposed to be expose, a belief in the existence of a supernatural being that other religions identify solemnly as Satan or Lucifer or Beelzebub. Beelzebub? I don't know. I've never said it that way. The temple rejects all forms of supernaturalism and is committed to the view that scientific rationality provides the best measure of reality. According to Messner, who goes by the professional name of Lucian Greaves, Satan is just a metaphorical construct intended to represent the rejection of all forms of tyranny over the human mind. The curriculum for the proposed after-school clubs emphasizes the development of reasoning and social skills. The group says meetings will include a healthful snack, literature lesson, creative learning activities, a science lesson, puzzle solving. Yes, I stopped it so abruptly, but people were coming in the door that would, judge me. So we were talking about okay, here we go. The group says meetings will include a healthful snack, literature lesson, creative learning activities, a science lesson, puzzle solving, and an art project. Every child will receive a membership card and must have signed parental permission slip to attend. We think it's important for kids to be able to see multiple points of views to reason things through, to have empathy, and feelings of benevolence for their fellow human beings, said the Satanic Temple's Utah chapter head, who goes by the name Chalice Blith. If they need a signed parental form to go to this, obviously I'm sure it's unflattering. If they have a signed parental form to have to go to this, I don't think any parent's gonna sign for their child to go to a satanic after school thing. But okay. The emphasis on multiple perceptions is a hint pointing to the temple's true foe. The group at first intends to rule out the clubs in a limited number of schools and districts that also host an evangelical Christian after-school program known as the Good News Club. Good News Clubs, which are sponsored by an organization founded in 1937 called the Child Evangelism Fellowship, CEF, aim to reach children as young as 5 with the fundamentalist form of evangelical Christianity. For most of their history, Good News Clubs were largely excluded from public schools out of concern that their presence would violate the Constitution. In 2001, a case that commanded the resource of powerful legal adversary groups on the religious right, including the Alliance Defending Freedom and the Liberty Council, I can't read. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that to exclude an after-school program on account of the religious views of its sponsors amounted to a violation of free speech rights. The CEF then went on a tear, and by 2011 it reported 3,560 Good News Clubs, putting them in more than 5% of the nation's public elementary schools. The Satanic Temple makes no secret of its desire to use that same approach. We would like to thank the Liberty Council specifically for opening the doors to the after-school Satan clubs through their dedication to religious liberty. Greaves explained to the gathering of chapter heads in Salem, so the Satanic Temple leverages religious freedom laws that put after-school clubs in elementary schools nationwide. That's going to be the message. And I leave you with this today. Oh, no, I don't. Wait a second. Should the Satanic Temple be allowed to open after-school Satan clubs in elementary schools? Do you think yes, they should be allowed, or no, they shouldn't? I feel no. There's more. The Liberty Council agrees that the Satanic Temple has a right to organize its clubs in public schools and take the risk that they can't be banned so long as they're not disruptive or engaging in rituals that put people at risk. I would definitely oppose after-school Satanic clubs, but they have a First Amendment right to meet, said Matt Straver, Library Council's founder and chairman. I suspect in this particular case, I can't imagine there's going to be a lot of students participating in this. It's probably dust they're kicking up and is likely to fade away in the near future for lack of interest. The Satanic Temple is eager to compete directly with the Good News Clubs and doesn't hide its belief that its own after-school product is on the right side. While the Good News Clubs focuses indoctrination, instilling children with a fear of hell and God's wrath, after-school Satan clubs will focus on free inquiry and rationalism. Greaves said, "We prefer to give children an appreciation of the natural wonders surrounding them, not a fear of an everlasting otherworldly horror." Good News Club leaders have defended their organization's presence in public schools. According to the Good News Club website, each club includes a clear presentation of the gospel and an opportunity for children to trust the Lord Jesus as Savior. Every club also includes strong discipleship, training to build character and strengthen moral and spiritual growth. Amy Jensen, a professional educator in Tuscan who has a master's degree in curriculum instruction and teaching from the University of Denver, so she decided to lead an after-school Satan club after comparing its curriculum materials with those of the Good News Club. Jensen noted that the Satanic Temple's materials say the group encourages benevolence and apathy among all people and advocates practical common sense. As a teacher, if I were deciding whether to teach that or the fear and hatred of other people's beliefs, which is what the Good News Club teach, I will also choose what the Satanic Temple has available, she says. Like all ASSC teachers, Jensen has volunteered to cover after-school Satan Club costs, including faculty use fees and curriculum materials. The Satan Temple is launching a crowdfunding campaign, which is how it covers many of its initiatives. The blend of political activism, religious critique, and performance art that characterizes the after-school Satan Club proposal is not a new approach for the Satanic Temple. It is just the most recent in a series of efforts that has made the temple famous and notorious. Why a Satanic Temple member wants to perform rituals before City Council in the Bible Belt. That's a thing there. In 2014, after the Supreme Court ruled that the regular recitation of prayers before town meetings did not violate the First Amendment, provided that towns do not discriminate among religions, the temple decided to test just how much religious liberal towns allowed. They volunteered to perform a satanic benediction in an Arizona town where the border regularly opened with a Christian prayer. In that case, the town preferred to abolish the practice of opening prayers. Okay. In this and other instances, such as when the Satanic Temple proposed the installation of a statue of Baphomet in Oklahoma in response to a stone monument emblazoned with the Ten Commandments, the thrust of the temple's activism has been to prevent religious groups from claiming the mantle of implicit state endorsement. The group's activism is much in common with the movement started a decade ago when Bobby Henderson of the Church and the Flying Spaghetti Monster penned an open letter to the Kansas School Board in 2005, citing fears that the introduction of teaching religious intelligent design alongside the theory of evolution would inculcate public school students with Christian thought. Henderson agreed that believing that there is a benevolent deity made of spaghetti and meatballs just as legitimate as believing in God. Believers in the flying spaghetti monster took on the name Paciferus. Like the Satanic Temple, the Paciferis insisted that there was a genuine religion. According to Henderson, who published The Gospel of the Flying Spaghetti Monster in 2006, it's inaccurate to say that this church is purely a thought experiment or satire. The Church of FSM is legit and backed by hard science. Anything that comes across as humor or satire is purely coincidental, Henderson says on his website. Let me make this clear. We are not anti-religion. We are anti-crazy nonsense done in the name of religion. There is a difference. Greaves likewise insists that the Satanic Temple is much more than satire. We've moved well beyond being a simple political ploy and into being a very sincere movement that seeks to separate religion from superstition, he said. The Satanic Temple expects to face opposition to its after-school proposal. When the group sought to erect the Bahamut monument, the Oklahoma governor's office dismissed the proposal as absurd, and right-wing activists joined the attack. Given the fight ahead and the long odds of pushing Christianity out of public schools, an important question about the after-school Satan clubs is, does the Satanic Temple really want religion, even its own, in public schools? Greaves is blunt. We are only doing this because Good News Clubs have created a need for this. If Good News Clubs will operate in churches rather than in public schools, that need would disappear. But our point is that if you let one religion into the public schools, you have to let others. Otherwise, it's an establishment of religion. In the 2001 Supreme Court ruling, Justice David Souter penned a scathing dissent. He suggested that the decision would bring about a world in which any public school open for civic meetings must be open for use as a church, synagogue, or mosque. The Satanic Temple probably wouldn't front and center in this thinking, yet it appears determined to prove him correct. Stewart is a Boston-based journalist. She is the author of The Good News Club, an investigative book about public education and religious fundamentals in America. Follow her on Twitter at Kath Stewart. Okay. What I have to say about this is it's complete bull. Because I'm saying that it seems like people don't really understand what it could do, because if I'm looking at this in a logical perspective, which I hope I am, this doesn't really explain anything, because this guy is literally saying that he wants to teach kids that not everyone's going to like heaven, and open up the possibility of hell and the devil and saving you with the devil and all that other stuff. I get that. But what I don't get is why people are like making such a big deal out of this. Yes, it's a horrible thing, and I see what I want to see, which is obviously seeing it in the way that it's meant to be taken, like it's a horrible thing. But if you really, really also think about it, they're doing this because this is actually what they believe in and what they think that people should join like forces with them for. And I think that if you're really passionate about something like this, I say go after what you're passionate about. And again, I'm not just saying this because I'm religious. This is the farthest thing from my religion that I can think to talk about. But it's just like, I don't understand what goes on in a person's mind when they think this is like important to teach kids as young as elementary school. Like if it was middle school or high school targeted, I would understand that. But elementary school targeted, like kids as young as kindergarten and pre-K could be listening to this. Like that's just messed up. You never want to do that. It's like, I don't know. It's just really weird. Like, I don't know. So, all I wanted to say was that, I know I sound like an over-religious person, but I mean, I just wanted to talk about it and see what everyone else thinks about it. Like, you don't have to be religious. You can be an atheist. I'm perfectly fine with that. Like, if you want to be an atheist, go ahead. If you want a religion, go ahead. I mean, I have devil worshippers in my park at 11 on Friday, so it's just kind of weird, and I thought I should talk about it. Okay. Bye.